The two calls that I think most people are talking about today. One, the Xavier Worthy catch, which took them from the 20-yard line to the 3-yard line. Important note on this, there was no chance of it being an interception. That call was either going to be, it was incomplete or an interception, but if it was either of those two things, there was a penalty on the defense on that play, which would have given the Chiefs the ball at the 20-yard line, okay? It's also worth noting, at that point in the game, there was roughly 3 minutes left to play in the first half. The Chiefs ended up scoring 1 minute later. They scored a touchdown on that drive. The Bills then answered with a touchdown of their own right before halftime. Now, why is this important? Because had they called an incompletion or an interception on that play, the Chiefs, instead of having it at the 3, would have had it at the 20. They took a minute off the clock by having it at the 3-yard line. It's entirely possible the Chiefs end up scoring, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, with basically no time remaining on the clock prior to halftime. That would have actually benefited the Chiefs, not the Bills. So that's that call, right? Because then the clock could potentially be drained out by the Chiefs prior to halftime. And again, the Bills did answer with a touchdown of their own. We didn't know that was going to happen, so I get that. But now we do with the proper context of 2020 hindsight. The 4th and 1 stop, or the bad spot, depending on your perspective of the play. It took place with 13 minutes remaining in the game. Let me say that one more time, because I think it's really important. There were 13 minutes left in the game after that 4th down stop. If that was on the final drive of the game, I totally get being up in arms, because at that point you feel like the referees took the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. Even if I were to concede, bad spot in that play. And I don't. I think both of those calls were legit 50-50 calls, and they happened to both go in the Chiefs' way, which obviously helps feed into this notion that the Chiefs have paid off the refs. But regardless.
They did, by the way.
If I concede that it was a really bad spot, Buffalo then had another chance on their final drive with 3.5 minutes left in the game to either kick a game-tying field goal and go to overtime, or to score the game-winning touchdown. The Chiefs had failed to step on their throat and really put them away because they settled for a field goal on their final meaningful drive of the football game. So the Bills got the ball back, man, in a spot where they can go then win the football game. 3.5 minutes to go with Josh Allen. He's played this great game for them. And guess what? They failed. They failed. Despite all of what we just talked about, the two big plays that apparently lost the Bills the game, the Bills were still in position to go win the football game. And they couldn't get it done. It had nothing to do with the refs in that spot. Had nothing to do with the officiating in that spot. It was them failing to meet the moment. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to be sitting here today coming off of one of the best football games that we've seen in recent years. This was such a great game between two amazing quarterbacks, all-time quarterbacks, and a spot that we have been building up to for the past 5 years. There's so much history between these teams, not only on the field, but also the Bills traded the Chiefs the pick that they got Patrick Mahomes with. The Bills ended up missing out on Trent McDuffie because the Chiefs traded up ahead of the Bills in the draft. When the Bills wanted Trent McDuffie, Chiefs got him. The Bills had to sell for who? Kyrie Elam, who played a huge role in that game yesterday, as did Trent McDuffie. And then this year, with the Worthy pick, Bills end up trading that to the Chiefs. Chiefs get Worthy. He has a great game yesterday. Bills trade back. They get Keon Coleman, who did nothing yesterday. So all of this has been building to this moment where it should be so celebrated. And instead, what we're talking about today is a bunch of nonsense. And it's so frustrating. Were they two legit 50-50 calls? Absolutely. And if they had called it, Josh Allen got the line to gain, and it was an incomplete pass to Xavier Worthy on the field, I don't think you could have overturned either of those calls either by going to the booth. So that's how I viewed this. You guys can yell at me if you think I'm stupid.